So the first thing we want to do here is download the radial graph paper that I made for you. Again, you're going to find a link for that right below the video. Now, I'm using the graph paper that has 12 spokes. You can do the same if you want to follow along exactly, but this is just practice. It really doesn't matter too much. But then what I'm going to do is add a little piece of double-sided tape right in the middle there, and then stick the ring down bang in the center. As always, just take a little time to make sure it really is in the middle, or this whole graph paper thing is pretty much pointless. Next up, I'm going to take a Sharpie and transfer the marks from the graph paper directly onto the top of the ring band. Now, as always, you're going to want to work as accurately as you can here and make sure those marks are running perfectly perpendicular to the ring band. If this part's off now, then everything is going to be off later on. And while it might actually look quite funky to have the lines running all over the place for the ring band, when it comes to our setting later, if they're off, well, that's going to be pretty much a disaster. Okay, that's that done with. Next up, I'm going to get this into my vise and grab my 1.3mm cylinder burr. You're going to want to keep this thing well lubed, okay? Just to avoid burning the poor little thing out. And so what I'm going to do here is simply cut cylindrical recesses into the ring band, directly on each of those lines I just marked. And what we're aiming for is to make sure the cut is even and the same depth for the entire width of the band. So that means always keeping our burr parallel to the top of the ring band itself. And as I'm cutting here, I know I say this a lot, but please look at my hands. I've got full control of the burr and I'm moving it back and forth very slightly as it cuts. And this is super helpful if the cutting edge of the burr isn't quite as long as the ring band. I do hear a little question though. How deep are we cutting? Okay, that's a good one and it's easy. I'm cutting approximately halfway into the diameter of my cylinder burr. Now, once you've cut into two of those lines that are right next to each other, what I'm going to do is cut again right in the center of those, just by eye. And then again, if there's space, this is only a practice piece after all, I'll cut once again between those two. As we're doing this though, I want you to understand that it is perfectly normal to be slipping around a bit. Your burr might be skipping backwards, and that is the whole point of this exercise. I just want you to take it slowly and focus on each cut at a time. Stay calm and remember to breathe. I know it sounds a bit wishy-washy, but seriously, I really focus on my breathing when I'm doing stuff like this. And as always, you're going to want to make sure that you're holding the burr firmly. Make sure you've got your hands in contact with each other and you're using that middle finger to support the burr and help stop it skipping backwards. And then hopefully, by the end of this ring, you're going to have it nailed. But we don't want to stop practicing this until we have, okay? We don't want to be slipping when it comes to making our setting. But thankfully, this really does have a lot to do with muscle memory. And you're like, what the hell is that? Seriously, just practice this for half an hour or an hour a day. Take a nap, let everything process itself internally, and when you go back to it the next day, it will seem a lot more natural, I promise you. And that is muscle memory. And there we go, 1 ring, actually 2. It's kind of like a bonus project, right? But anyway, now it's time to put those burr control skills into action as we take a look in the next video at making a prong setting for a round brilliant cut stone. I'll see you over there.